need a haircut.
No, it looks all right, actually.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to HJ Goes Live, brought to you by Schwarzkopf Professional with our current British Hairdresser of the Year, the lovely Sally Brooks. Good morning, Sally.
Good morning. Are you okay?
Yes, very good. Thank you. Anyone who caught that, I was saying I need a haircut, so apologies, but I am sticking with it. How are you, my lovely?
I'm very good. All good.
Doing all right?
Yeah. Just Groundhog Day and getting on with it, really. Yeah.
I know. So third time win on November. So let's start by talking about that. I have to say it was also an absolute joy to see the dogs making an appearance in your...
One of the dogs making an appearance, one of them sulking and one of them making an appearance.
So that collection has, I mean, it's just really captured the imagination, but I think mainly because it really captured the moment and the kind of the essence of everything that 2020 was and is. So give us a bit of an insight into how it came about.
Do you know, it's I don't know if anybody that's ever got a phone call from you to say that you're nominated, that's one thing. I usually ignore you for about 3 days, don't I? I'm probably the last person that picks it up. I'm like, oh God, do you know what I mean? Oh God, I don't want to answer this. Anyway, so you get that phone call from you and then you put the phone down and you're like, well, what am I going to do this year? This is like a bit different and I'm stuck at home and I don't know. So basically these beautiful swan neck mannequins I absolutely adore, and I had an idea a couple of years ago to shoot a collection on these, but I didn't think the timing was right. So this time I was like, okay, let's just do these swan necked mannequin heads. So I ordered them online. They're about £15-20 each, so they all arrive in a massive box and I was like, great. And then they sat in my living room and I was like, the one big problem that I hadn't really worked out is that they haven't got any hair on them. And all the hair shops were closed.
They're bald.
And there was no hair shops open. So yeah, that was a little bit of a problem. So I thought that was hilarious that I'd got this idea and they were looking at me and there was a whole bag full of these weird alien looking heads that my dogs thought were hilarious. So I went down into the cellar where you've got all them bits of hair that you've got floating around and had a good dig around in there and started to play with a few things there. And then the hair shops opened and then I decided to challenge myself even more and decide that all the hair I was going to buy was from the bargain bucket at the back. So I didn't want to buy really expensive hair and do it. And then the challenge was to then make the things. It was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
Was it?
Yeah, you got loads of different challenges when you work with things like that. It was trying not to make it look like a college project. And what that meant is sometimes, you know, doing a little bit of it and then walking away and having a look and then taking a picture of it and then walking away and working out how to get the proportions right. Yeah. Because the heads are quite small. Yeah. And then you also have these other limitations where they don't have any ears and they don't have any shoulders. Yeah. So you can't move hair on shoulders and you can't use the curve of the ears to create shapes. And also the more hair you put on them, the more they look like wig stands. Yeah. So it was actually a lot harder. It was such a less is more. And, you know, there's more that I'd obviously made that I didn't use that, like I said, it was trying to make it look like a sophisticated piece of work, as opposed to I've just put a wig on something. I mean, none of them are wigs. They're all handmade. They're all tiny pieces of hair that are all just put in different places. You know, it wasn't quite as straightforward as I thought. And then they were all lined up in my living room and I was looking at them and was like, right, so now I have some heads, but what I don't have is a photograph, because basically they're all going to look exactly the same because you can only shoot them to a certain point because they don't have any bodies. Yeah. So it's quite funny. The whole process is actually quite funny. So then what I did is I cut some of the heads off and I repositioned them and stuck them back on with gaffer tape. So if you notice, some of them look in different directions.
Yes.
So again, it was trying to get some of them to look down. Yeah, you just chop the heads off and then turn them around and then gaffer tape them back on, which is why some of them have got their necks covered, because they've got the heads cut off and then the heads are
been decapitated.
Yeah. So then I decided that I needed to try and make this into a full photo shoot. So that was the idea. And also trying to make them look real. That was really important. It was like not trying to make them look like wig stands. It was trying to make them look real. So I put them in the back of the car, drove them up to a friend of mine called Monica and asked her what she'd got in the cupboard, basically dropped them outside, So she then put the string on some of the necks. Okay. So I went and collected them back. So I was like, right, now I still had necks, no bodies. So I was like, right, like I said, the whole thing was like a working challenge. So then I was in the park walking the dogs one day, bumped into a stylist, a clothes stylist that I'd worked with years ago called Mikhail. So Mikhail got on his push bike, came over to the house, got one of the heads, he put it in his backpack, drove it home, went in his wardrobe, found some dresses, took pictures of them. Is this what you mean? And I was like, no. It was really too much. I was like, refine it back. I was like, dress them like they're real people.
Yeah.
So don't think of them like they're mannequin heads, think of them like they're people. So basically then we had to work out how to get the polystyrene head on a stand. So basically you had to cut a hole in the bottom, shove it up at his arse, like I said, took them all in the car, went to the photo shoot, stuck it up his arse. I mean, then we had to dress it like it was a real person, and then we had to shoot it. So the whole thing was a challenging process to get it to the level and the beauty of, I think, what they ended up being.
They are stunning.
Yeah, but I think everyone thinks, oh, she's just put a wig on. No, it wasn't quite as straightforward as that. It was sticking all the different hair in all the different directions that natural hair grows, and then treating them like they were real people, actually, with personality, like that. It was interesting. Yes,
really ethereal. That's the I mean, they have really captivating. I mean, when I first saw them, as you know, because you and I have had many a laugh about, you're very relaxed about your British hairdressing, well, any shoot, and
I just explain to everybody? So when you send your pictures in to the awards, you have to send a before picture of your models. Yeah. So there's a deadline date to enter. So all the pictures go to Jane and to the thing, and you have to be in by 5 o'clock, and it's deadline. Really? Now I got my PR to take them round Ruth, and I said to her, don't take them before 3-4 o'clock, and also when you take them, can you please film Jane's reaction when she opens the before picture? Yeah. So you can tell what you thought from there. Well,
because you and I have had many a conversation where so the day of the British Hairdressing Awards a couple of years ago, I said to you, the live show, which are your two models? And you went, oh, I don't know, whichever two are left. You are the most relaxed always of the nominees. And it'd be like, oh, it'll be fine. And you and I had a conversation about models this year and the shoot, and was it going to be difficult? And I remember you saying to me, oh yeah, they all turned up on time and were really well behaved. It went really well. And I was like, oh good, that's really positive. And then when I opened it and they were basically swan neck mannequins with nothing on them, I was like, oh, she's funny. Because I honestly thought you just sent it as a joke. I was like, oh, obviously her real pictures are going to be in here somewhere. And then I was like, oh my God. And then it literally made the hairs on the back of your neck stand up when you then opened the images and saw what the kind, I mean, you would have those. I mean, I'm delighted because Winning Collections has gone out today, as I gave you a sneak peek before. Actually, you would have those images on the wall as a piece of art because they are so...
It's always when I speak to Jenny, who I shoot with a lot for the awards, she's a really good friend of mine, and she manages to capture always what's in the back of my head. And like I said, we spoke about this a couple of years ago. So when you'll laugh at this as well. So when I phoned her up and said, we're going to do this, she was like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, I'm dead serious. And then, it was sending her pictures as I was working through it. And then always I give her a really quite a strong brief. And this one was like, I want you to shoot them like they're real people. I don't want you to think of them as mannequin heads. Right. And I want it to be really moody and really beautiful and really like a piece of art that you would put on your wall at home. Now, always when I'm in a studio with Jenny, we always shoot with a one-day shoot, so it's pretty frantic, and it takes a long time to set the lighting up, because anybody that's shooting collections, unless you get your first picture right, it's the benchmark for the rest of the shoot. So there's no point going, we're just going to take that one because we've got to shoot the whole 8 in one day. So we didn't finalize the first picture until about 2:30.
Wow.
And you've only got a studio booked till 6. And like I said, there was only a certain point I could get the mannequins to before I went to the studio, because you can't overload the product because they start to look wiggy. You can't use hairsprays and things on them. So there was quite a lot of work to actually do on the day. So that the actual day was pretty stressful as well, apart from the models were absolutely so well behaved. They were dream. And then obviously I made one out of clay. Do you mean the finger wave one that I did out of clay? So I've got a ball of clay in the bottom of my bag, and I've got this acrylic mannequin head, so I had to quickly finger wave that with clay, and it was quite chaotic on the day. But that's probably what inspires me the most. Is I think when something is too planned and too set out, it doesn't allow you to have that space.
Doesn't give you the freedom.
Find something different.
Yeah.
And that's always the way I like to work. I'm really clear on what I want, and I'm really clear on the direction I give to people on the day. So it allows everybody to do their job. It allows Mikkel to style his way, and it allows Jenny to shoot her way. But it's got to have that common goal at the end, and it's trying to control the quality to get it to that level. Like I said, you know, it wasn't as straightforward because they were wobbling around, and you're trying to stick them on a pole, but yeah.
And I think also they were absolutely perfect for this year, because this year we did allow kind of wigs to be used, which was normally there's a limit on the number of wigs, because, you know, just because that's how it's always been.
And do you think, just as an interest, do you think that that's probably a rule that you're going to consider keeping? Because usually, just so everyone knows, the rule, and for British, you know, I think a lot of people think that British doesn't have as many rules behind it. It has the same rules behind it. So you're still only allowed to use wigs and hairpieces in 4 out of your 8 images. And only this year was, and only 2 full wigs. Absolutely. So this year was the first year that it was actually, the rule on that was relaxed, which is why it allowed me to be able to do what I did this year.
We are certainly looking at kind of thing,
because that is a skill on its own. And it's how the judges view it when they judge. I mean, if somebody's done a full wig and it looks like a wig, then the judges are not going to put that first anyway. But if people understand how to use pieces and wigs and strands and things, it's actually a beautiful skill on its own.
Yeah, no, it is certainly something we're looking at. So actually, it's one of the conversations for this afternoon, because we've got a meeting about hairdressing awards entries and what's happening. So the plans are already ahead. You've touched on there about your shoot. How do you decide on the team? Because that's the critical bit, isn't it? It's getting the team that you're working with to understand your vision. Because my view, and I think we share this, is it is the hairdresser's shoot, not the photographer's shoot, not the stylist shoot. It is the hairdresser's shoot. So
I think it's something that comes with experience, actually. Is when you have an idea, it's like choosing somebody that's going to be the clothes stylist. You've got to choose somebody that's their style of work. And that they're really comfortable in what they do, but they're also going to bring something to the table, not try to overpower the shoot. Do you know what I mean? And that is, and also that it's trying to find people that don't have egos. And I know that sounds really bad, but you know, when you've got massive egos in a room, actually what you want to do is have a laugh. You want it to be fun, and you want it to be relaxed, and you want to know that that person is taking care of what they're going to do the best they can. But you also want to be able to say, I don't like that. And somebody doesn't go, why don't you like that? Do you know what I mean? It's not that I don't like it, it's that it doesn't work for the shoot. It goes back to the Simplicity collection I did when we had that whole rail of clothes. And you know, Anne's an amazing stylist, and she did the most amazing job on that day, but it just wasn't right for what I was trying to achieve. But she never got an ego when I asked her to get the little linen dress out the bottom of her bag and use it for every job, you know. And it's that everybody's want for the same vision
as well, isn't it? It's the trust to be able to have those.
It's a trust thing. I mean, it's like, you know, I am a little bit got a phobia with makeup artists. I am a little bit, especially when I go abroad, and that's one of my things when I do shows is they go, this is your makeup artist, and I'm always like, simple, keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple, because but then simple is the hardest thing to do. So it's like when I'm using real life models, the skin is really important to me. The skin, I want everything in my work to be able to breathe and be alive, and you know, I don't want it to be over retouched and over forced. So it's trying to make the best of what you've got in front of you without overdoing it for me. And sometimes, I mean, you'll ask all my team, always I'm like, that's great, but remove half of it. So that then my eye is only looking at the one thing I choose you to look at. Whereas when there's so much going on, if it's all clothes and all makeup and all hair, and it's just like, what on earth am I meant to look at? So mine's always like simplify, refine, and pull it back. So choosing my team is really important.
Lots of comments. So Mary Geoghegan, so stunning. I love the collection. Kelly Russell, how long have you been doing awards and competitions? Have you always?
It's probably something I fell into when I opened the salon more than anything. And the salon's 20 years old this year, I think it is.
Wow.
It's probably something I fell into doing. I don't know. Awards are really good because they force you to do something to a deadline.
Yeah.
Now, it's all very well saying, oh, I've got this idea, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. And unless you've got a deadline, you actually never get round to doing it or pushing yourself to that level. Yeah. Anybody, my team will say, and anybody that works with me, I can change my mind the day before a job when I'm doing it really easily. And especially with awards and shows and things like that, because my mind is constantly working. Yeah. So I can walk in on the day and think, this is not what mood I'm in, I'm going to change what we're doing. But whatever, it's still a deadline that I have to work towards. So that's what I think awards are really good for. But, you know, it's not about winning. It's never about winning, but it is about putting yourself out there to do something that was in the back of your head.
Yeah, give it a go.
Give it a go. The winning is a bonus, but it's, to me, it's not the win. It's the actual doing something that you're sharing.
I don't think you'll mind me saying, you know, a lot of comments we get are, oh, it's expensive. Actually, I know you used mannequin heads, so that's slightly different. But you also proved with the type of hair you used that you can do it beautifully, win the biggest title on a more limited budget.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the other reason I probably have always wanted to do mannequin heads is because I hate the model agencies, drive me insane. Yeah. I mean, if we're going back to when we first started to do awards, you used to be able to do it on a test. So you used to be able to test with the model, which means you didn't have to pay her. Now, because you've got social media and you've got the amount of usage, basically you're paying for usage. So it does get expensive if you're not careful. Yeah. But that's the challenge. The easy route is to pay for expensive models, pay for an expensive photographer, pay for expensive everything. That's the easy route. Yeah. But the challenge is what actually makes something stand out. Yeah. So if you're street casting, don't try and, if you're going to do a street casting and the model's not what you call an agency girl, she has a different look. So don't try and make her into an agency looking girl. Make her into the girl she is. But you have to choose your models and everything around your concept of your shoot.
So maybe if you rather than the other way around.
Yes, rather than the other way around. And that's what you see a lot, is people trying to make this part of the jigsaw that doesn't fit with this part of the jigsaw fit. You've got to make all of the jigsaw fit together. But that's the work that goes on behind the scenes leading up to the awards that makes the jigsaw fit.
You've mentioned your team a lot, and I mean, your team have been successful in the awards too, which is testament to you and, you know, to you and the team. I've just got a comment here, which I'm going to read. So Daryl Starkey, I just want to thank Sally Brooks for everything she's done for me, giving up a day from my busy schedule to help train my eye. One of the reasons why I'm able to produce the work I am now. I mean, he's spoken to me about that, and I know that he.
No, what's lovely about that? Hiya, anyway. What's lovely about that is that he actually had the balls to ask.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was super proud that he picked the phone up or messaged you and said, can I come and spend the day with you? Because it's transformed.
He didn't message me. He put a message out collectively to the industry. Okay. And I just thought, if somebody actually
wants to learn.
Wants to learn. I mean, some people are lucky that they have companies that they work for and bosses that they work for that do that. But that's not everybody. But it doesn't mean that it's not out there. You've just got to ask. Yeah. And a lot of it is, like I said, it's actually about training the eye. I mean, he was definitely, he'll agree to this. When he came to see me, he's like, why do people say my work isn't good? And I was like, because it's shit.
She doesn't mean it.
But the change and that one day spent, the change I see in his work now is incredible.
He was a finalist this year.
Yeah, incredible. But it is about training your eye. It's not about getting angry that people aren't understanding what you do. Yeah. It's about training your eye, that it's like people are going to be accessible to what you do. And it's like, it's just that, and that's what is beautiful about the industry.
Yeah, no, I agree. And someone else is asking, did you, do you, it's an interesting, and you know, but I think there's some feeling that all the colour houses pay for all the big names to sponsor their shoots.
Never.
No.
Never. Absolutely never. 100%. It's something that we pay for in the salon, and it's something we decide as a company together, me and Jamie, how much we want to invest in it, what we're going to get out of it, and what we want to use it for. We never ever have been sponsored by a product company. And also, just on another one like that, a lot of the shoots we've done over the years, which you probably saw on our Brooks and Brooks Instagram before Christmas, we were posting a lot of winning collections that we've done with, you know, some amazing hairdressers that have moved on to do different things. A lot of their models are street cast.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of it was when Jenny was first starting to shoot.
Okay.
So she wasn't the photographer she is now. 20 years ago, me and Jenny were at a different level completely. So it was finding somebody to do that was on the same level, street casting. So a lot of our shoots haven't cost a lot of money. We used to give out, I'm laughing. We used to give our teams a budget of £500 to do the shoots.
Yeah, but they won, Sally. I
know, they won. Yes. And I am a great believer in, you know, and I'm the team, from, you know, past members of staff to staff now that we have, the team will always know that sometimes I bring the budgets really low because it makes them work harder for it.
Yeah.
It makes them more creative, and it pushes them to find maybe a young up and coming stylist, some new photographer. So it's got their vibe behind it. If I give them everything on a plate, it's basically my shoot.
Yes. Yeah, and that's they don't learn from that.
I mean, we years ago, God, we used to walk around Soho, the whole staff basically, when there was about 10, 13 of us. We used to walk around Soho night after night after night, all of us street casting, especially for the men's shoots.
Yeah.
You know, all the staff used to go in all the different clubs.
Yeah.
And they'd find somebody, and then I'd walk in and I'd be like, yep, he's got good bone structure. Yep, ask him. But we all used to do it collectively. It was a really good team thing. No, it's not. It's not about money. Sometimes it is, and it does. But you've got to push your team really hard.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to. It's. There's nothing worse than somebody turning up. Like I would hate to work with a photographer that turned up and just clicked the picture. I was like, well, it doesn't inspire me at all.
No.
When somebody wants to make, you know, working with Jenny on these mannequin heads, where she wanted, you know, even an inch difference in how we were shooting them. Made such a difference to what we were capturing. You know, it's like that.
No, that's brilliant. Now you've won British 2017, 2018, and now 2020. And I have to say, I think you were genuinely surprised when you won. I could tell by your reaction on the screen. I mean, it was.
Do you know what? And you just got to put this out there. It was a bit risky what I did this year.
Yeah.
I mean, even at the judging, I was there when people were judging it. And to be perfectly honest, I couldn't even look at anybody. I was so nervous about everyone's reaction. I mean, nobody's ever done this before. It was a real out the box.
I was more worried you were going to wear pajamas on the night. I've got to be honest.
I wasn't going to wear pajamas on the night.
I knew you won. So, and I was thinking these pictures are going to go worldwide, and Sally's going to be in her PJs, so she.
I was going to wear my pajamas. But it was a Marmite collection for me.
Yeah, but it definitely captured the moment and captured the imagination. I mean, the love that's coming in for you. So Martin Francis from Mode saying, what a great session. So lovely to see you, Martin. Good morning.
Do you know the other thing that Jane, it's like on the night when I did win, I was dying you to say what the collection was called though.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, no, I was just like, no, I can't put the F-bomb. Is she going to say it's got the F-bomb in it? No, she didn't. No, I didn't. You've used, I think it's fair to say, your wins with British 2017, 2018, and I know you will this year. And for those that watched, your speech on that night in November brought a tear to my eye, because you said the trophy should say Hairdressers United, because we
100%.
all together to come through this, you know, and we're still in it, let's be honest, to come through this year. So you did the journey to my destination, and to anybody who's not seen that, just give them a brief on why people should get youngsters watching it. I mean, it's brilliant.
Do you know, it's like we still, as much as we say we don't, we still do have this stigma of what hairdressers are, especially at schools and colleges. And, you know, I had the honour last year, especially of working with L'Oreal closely and going into schools and into hairdressing colleges. and I was showing the documentary. I started getting really emotional doing this. And I was showing the documentary, and it was such, probably one of the most humbling experiences that I've ever done, and also probably one of the most beautiful things. You know, winning British Hairdresser of the Year is amazing, don't get me wrong, but when you actually do something that gives back so much to some other people. So I went into colleges and I showed the documentary, and then I was doing Q&As with these kids. And, you know, it was meant to last about 5 minutes, the Q&As. I mean, I asked Rob Eaton, I asked Rob to do one with me, because I also love bringing other people into experiences that I'm doing. The questions and the lack of respect from schools that these kids, there was a kid that stood up and said, she was so nervous. She was like, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us today and showing us this documentary. I wasn't allowed to do any other career choice at school apart from hairdressing, because I was told I was so bad, so thick and so useless in my life that the only thing I could do was hairdressing. So I just thought before this that all hairdressers were bad people. It was so emotional. See, it's like, it was so emotional. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, sorry, just tell me that again. So your school, she said, I said, what did you want to do? She said, I wanted to learn to be a chef or something like that. But I was told that because I was so bad, the only career choice I've got was hairdressing. So I've been at this college for a year thinking that only bad people do hairdressing. I was like, and it went on. I did 5 or 6 of these around the country. Just before lockdown, I was meant to be doing more. And it was absolutely heartbreaking to just come up here. Heartbreaking, listening to these kids. And also, I'll give you another example is I got asked a question of why do salons like myself stop taking work experience kids from colleges like these? So my answer, obviously anybody that knows me, was to be perfectly honest, because when I've had kids in from colleges, you're fucking useless. Like you're useless. I said, and you don't know what you're doing. You come with greasy hair. You don't put any makeup on. Your shoes are dirty. I said, and then I said, right, where's all the teachers? Let's get all the teachers up. I said, who teaches these kids how to go in for an interview and to get an apprenticeship? And this, ready for this one? And this teacher said, there's one person that decides which kids go to the apprentices. And I said, oh, so you meet the salon, you meet the kid, you think if they're compatible together and you give them some advice to go in. She said, no, she said, one person actually just puts the names and decides what apprenticeship they're going in. It doesn't even matter if that's what they're studying. So a hairdressing kid can end up in an office kid can end up in a hairdresser's. We've got massive problems. It's absolutely heartbreaking. So the more I can do for that, because, you know, we have so much to offer. Why are we still thought about like this?
One of the only things that's positive that's come out of the pandemic is actually the profile and respect for hairdressing has gone up, because there's not one national television channel or media that hasn't been talking about the difference that a visit to a salon makes. Not just the look good. I mean, we were joking before we came on that, you know, you need a haircut, but actually it's that well-being factor, because if your hair feels great, you feel great. And they go hand in hand. It is real well-being.
But I don't even feel that it's just about hairdressing apprenticeships.
No,
I feel like it's about apprenticeships.
Apprenticeships, full stop.
Apprenticeships need to be spoken about at the same level as university.
And
in different countries like, you know, Denmark and Sweden and that, they're the same level. In this country, it's you either go to university or you're thick. And that's what we need to change. It's not just hairdressing. It's any industry that they're going to learn a trade and connect with people. We need to really sort this out.
So people are saying, where can they, so Anna, yes, this session is recorded and will be on Hairdressers Journal's Facebook, but the documentary, is it still on Amazon for people?
It's still on Amazon. So, Amazon videos.
I mean, you would be happy for anybody watching this to take it, send it to their local college, school.
100%. There's so many parents have bought this and taken it to their schools. There's so many hairdressers out there already that I know have actually gone into schools with it and done talks with it. You know, and also if people haven't watched it, when you do watch it, what you've got to think as well is there's 2 of us made this. With no budget, with no production company.
No.
It's just two of us and a load of people that were willing to give up their time and a lot of hard work. But it's not my documentary. This is the industry's documentary. I'm only in it for, what, 5 seconds, I think?
No,
it's 100% not about me. This is a tool that can be used to promote what we do.
So it's nice to see Beverly need to say, I'm old school, and make sure that my students know how to present themselves and how to clean. It's not all about the physical styling when you go into hairdressing.
100%.
She's so right.
Just wash your hair and put some clean shoes on. But that's when you know that people haven't got the support mechanism from a family. Yeah. So they haven't got their support mechanism from their family. So they're going into a college, but we're not giving them support mechanism there either. So somewhere along the line, these kids just need a little bit of help.
Yeah. So A Journey to My Destination on Amazon. They will find links also on Brooks and Brooks Hair, I'm assuming, and on Sally Brooks Hair. There'll be information. I'm sure there will. Ruth,
yes, I'm sure there will be. Yes.
Ruth, put it up there. I'm sure she's watching to put it up there. We're nearly out of time, which I can't believe, because we've not even started talking about the things I also wanted to talk about. So we might have to do it round 2, Sally, if that's all right.
Okay.
You're up for it. Someone's asking, actually, how old do you have to be to work for L'Oreal? But I don't think it's an age. There's no age limit applied to that. That's Keegan.
How old?
Yeah.
Work for L'Oreal?
Yes, it's not an...
I don't know. I'm thinking 18 to 110.
Yeah. Yeah, and anywhere in between, I would think.
And anywhere in between. Just before we go, can I just quickly give a shout out to Marlon and Grace for their education platform?
Yes, of course.
So you've probably seen that we are launching online education as of Friday. Super exciting. It's a really affordable package. Marlon and Grace and myself have been working super hard on this. It's called Be Motivated, Be Inspired, Be the Best Version of Yourself. It's a 2-month program. It's got 5 key learnings of 5 3-hour sessions. Yeah. Then you've got 2 sessions with me. One that you can absolutely grill me and ask me any questions that you want, which will be an hour. You can come on. Yes, you can ask me anything you want. And then I'm going to bring another guest artist in that is going to give you more learnings. Now, the extra thing, we think this is much more of a mentorship program. Yeah. It basically works out at £10 a week. It's super affordable, especially for anyone that hasn't got any anything that they can deliver to their apprentices at the moment, or their young staff through lockdown. That's one of the reasons we've put this in place. And also there's a thing on the website that you will be able to then talk directly to us. So if you have any questions about wanting to enter awards or building a clientele or more inspiration, it's a much more of a mentoring program. So it's available for everybody. So if you just have a look at www.brookseducation.co.uk, it launches on Friday. We will shut it down on Thursday night, because it is a 2-month mentorship where you can talk to us about anything.
So Natalie Clark's, I've already signed up. She can't wait. Now, I'm not going to let you go. There's a couple of things I want to ask you.
Go.
So I'm going to mention this because I am absolutely fascinated watching this. So for those of you that don't know Sally is creative in every aspect of her life. She turned up with the best cake I've ever seen. So you bake. But
I'm the worst baker, cook ever.
It was amazing.
I can only make 2 cakes.
Well, that's fine. It was an ace cake, so we loved it. I can only
make 2 cakes.
Tick the cake. But the art that you've been doing, and it's on at Cotton Doodle Art, isn't it? And it's the charcoal and the watercolors. How did that come about?
Do you know, it's what I asked for Christmas from my boyfriend. I have to be doing something through lockdown. The last lockdown I was doing ceramics, but it's too cold and wet for me to take my wheel outside.
Your video was brilliant. They were
brilliant. I asked for paints and pencils and artist paper. Now, just so you know, and anyone that knows me, I cannot draw anything. And I'm serious, before lockdown, if you ask me to draw anything, the best I will give you is a stick man. Right? I can't draw anything at all. Now, I obviously have a style.
Yes.
to the way I do things, but it's so therapeutic. I absolutely love it. Like I said, I'm not one for sitting, the telly can be on and I'll be watching something and I have no idea what I've watched. It's just on in the background. I have to be doing and have to be trying something. And painting it and drawing is really therapeutic. I'm absolutely loving doing it. But I definitely think I have a style.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I don't know what style it is.
It's brilliant. They're just, honestly, it's just interesting to see how you turn your eye to something else. And I think it is that whole thing, isn't it? You've got to be doing something. You can't just sit.
Do you know, I think that's the whole industry. It's that, you know, it would be lovely to put this challenge out there for hairdressers, wasn't it? Is what is your hidden talent that you didn't actually know that you had? And that's what we've got the time to do at the moment.
There's a bit of we could have a bit of an Instagram competition here.
100%, because you know, there's so many hairdressers. It's like we became hairdressers because we're creatives and because we like
absolutely
what we do. But if we weren't hairdressers, we would have done I don't know what. Yeah. So maybe we should set this challenge.
Well, I think we should. If you look at Colin Graney from Mahogany, he's making sushi on a professional level. I mean,
yeah. See, one of my staff makes bread on a professional level. Like, it's really fascinating. It's like, but I think we just have to be doing something with our hands. And I don't know if it was you that asked me or someone else, is why do I do these drawings? And it's like, because I haven't seen my mum for so long. She's like, it just makes me smile every morning when I see one on there. And I'm like, I'll keep doing them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, one question that came into me actually before this was, how different do you feel it is for hairdressers growing up now with the social media generation than when you and I were youngsters? And actually you could make mistakes and the whole world didn't know about it. Do you think it's a good thing for the industry, the social media, or do you think it can? What's your view?
I'm so mixed on it. I don't know. I think you get to an age like me and you when you go, when I was young, and you kind of don't.
You want to rein yourself in because you sound old.
You want to rein yourself in because you start sounding like your mum. Do you know what I mean? But I was like, I love the fact that I was in the industry when it was what it was. And I think social media is amazing. I think it's amazing to connect with people, especially at the moment. It's been amazing to connect with people. I think it's amazing that we can talk to different hairdressers from around the world and we can share inspiration ideas. I think all of that is absolutely incredible. But if you're not somebody that likes putting yourself out there, you like being filmed, you like being on TV, you like being loud, you like being in your face, my fear is that you're going to get lost in the industry at the moment. And I hate the fact when I hear people say that unless you have X amount of followers, we won't be using you to do things. That to me is horrific in the industry.
It could be about talent.
It's about talent. So if people aren't very good at social media, I feel like they're being forced to do social media. And I feel like it's our responsibility, yours, mine, Jane, everybody's, to find a different platform for them. You know, when we come out of lockdown, there's a different platform. Maybe it's smaller venues and smaller chats. I mean, I always say one of my favourite things, and probably the best learning curve for me, is most of what I've done through my career, I've designed over a glass of wine.
Yeah.
In other words, I've been at a table talking to somebody that is inspiring me. Yeah. Everything now is done digitally through social media. At the moment, I understand we don't, you know, and I think we've done an amazing job to connect with each other at the moment. But it's again, it goes back to our education thing. I want to connect with people. I want to help people. I want to sit round and have a coffee with somebody and discuss different things. I don't want to just watch people being loud on social media.
No, I get that. I get that. Ruth Bannister, Sally, can you share one of your best cake recipes, please?
Oh my God, it's called out of a packet.
Don't shatter the illusion. I'll make her share it. Ruth. Oh, Caroline, thank you. Caroline Mann, one of the best interviews I've heard during lockdown so far. And this is a lovely one. Neil Ferguson Blakely, I saw your mum last week, Sally. We had a lovely chat. She's fabulous.
She did say, with all the dogs. Yeah. She said you had a million dogs with you. Yeah. Hi.
So one final question, because I can't let you go without asking this. What would you say now to your 16-year-old self?
Oh, probably not worry about what people thought of me quite as much.
Yeah.
And I think that's good advice to any 16-year-old. Don't worry about what people think of you, because what makes you different is what makes you stand out. And just do everything that you possibly can do, and don't take criticism negatively. Criticism is a positive thing. It's not a negative thing.
And it's all about the delivery of the criticism. If it's constructive criticism, then there's a way of delivering it, isn't there?
100% there's a way of delivering. And I think some people are good at delivering it. You know, I'm quite blunt when I deliver it, but I'm motivational when I deliver it. Yeah. I would never deliver it if I didn't think I could help the person on the other side. You know, I'd never say that's bad. That's bad criticism. I would never say that's bad. I would say that's bad because, and what we need to do to get it better is, that's good criticism. So also the other piece of advice I'd probably give is always ask the one word that annoys me to death, but I force myself to ask is why?
Why? Yeah.
Everything's why?
Kids start out, the first thing they say pretty much is why, isn't it?
Why? And then for some reason, when you get a bit older, you stop asking it because you think you're meant to know it.
No question's a silly question. So
no question's a silly question. That doesn't matter what age you are.
No, it is. We're going to have to come back and do it again because I've still got a list of things I want to ask. Thank you so much. Laura Vandergraaf, thank you. She said, lovely to see you. Sally, congratulations. Super proud of you. We're all super proud of you. You are a great ambassador for our industry. So thank you on behalf of Hairdresser Journal and Schwarzkopf and obviously the Hairdressing Awards. You are an amazing British Hairdresser of the Year. I can't wait to see what we can do together once we're allowed to unlock and open and get things moving again. But thank you for your time this morning. It's been
You're welcome. And I like your hair a bit longer.
Oh, do we approve?
I do.
Thanks.
Looking at it like rock chicky, I like it. It's good longer.
Feeling massive pressure talking to the best hairdressers in the world when it's not been cut and coloured from.
It's nice longer.
Thank you.
Love you all. All right.
Take care, Sally. Thank you. And thanks everybody for joining us. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.